Hello, my name is Joseph Harris. I have talked several times on YouTube, and we talked about the stages of progression towards chemical dependency. And we talked about detox yesterday. Yeah, we talked about different aspects related to drug. And I had mentioned, in the stages of progression, that drugs train the brain how to think, and then it conditions the mind. So we went over that. We talked about detox yesterday. So today we're going to talk about rehab. The first thing that a person must do is to get detox. That's number one. You cannot overcome your addiction if you have not detoxified, get all the chemicals out of your body, out of your mind. That's the beginning of the healing process. And when you start that, you're going to start to get stronger immediately, mentally, physically, spiritually. Every second, every minute, every hour that goes by, you're getting stronger. Even though you don't feel the strength taking place, you're getting stronger. It's just like if someone has pneumonia and they go to the hospital, they're hospitalized, and they're receiving medication, they're receiving treatment from the nurses and the doctors, but they feel weak, they feel horrible because they're still healing. In recovery, it's the same thing. When you're damaged by drugs severely, like you are with drugs, damaged severely, the heart, the brain, the kidneys, drugs go into your bloodstream and it carries the blood throughout your body. Wherever the blood goes, so goes a trail of damage. Your heart, liver, kidneys, brain, cells, everywhere, lungs, everywhere, brain. There's damage being done. Those poison chemicals are in your bloodstream. Whether you take them orally, you inject them, you smoke them, they're going into your bloodstream and they're going to carry damage wherever it goes. So I'm using drugs 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I have to be sick. I have to be. There's no way. Now, some people believe that drug addiction is a disease, and some people don't believe that drug addiction is a disease. Whichever way you believe, we can all agree on one thing. This is a torturous, deadly, suffering, horrible problem for any human being. Serious problem or serious disease, whichever one you want to call it. So we go on to detox. Now we're going to go on to rehab. Once I've cleansed my body and mind from the drugs, now my mind is ready to start in integrating knowledge on how I can beat this fellow. So what's going to happen in rehab? I'm going to be assigned a counselor. I'm going to be assigned. I'm going to be assigned different work that I'm going to have to do. Work related to recovery in reference to how it affects the body, how it affects the mind, how it affects the thinking, how A and NA works. I'm going to be sitting in lectures and groups, and from our program at Good Sam and the rehab, the treatment started at 9 o'clock and did not end until 8 p.m. because all day long there's a 9 o'clock group, there's a 10 o'clock group, there's an 11 o'clock lecture, there's lunch, then after that there's a group, then there's recreation, then after that there's a group, and then dinner, and then after that you got AANA. So all the way through, that mind is constantly learning, constantly putting knowledge in, for 28 days. Some of the programs are short now, especially with the health insurance regulations, which is horrible. We have people dying, hundreds of people, thousands of people dying on a regular basis, and health insurance companies will not provide enough time for a drug addicted person to get the treatment that they need. I just hope the government does something about that, because if we could save one drug addicted person, one human being, save one human being from the torture of drug addiction, that would be a wonderful thing. So with the proper treatment, we can save millions of our people who are suffering from drugs. So when we go into rehab, you're going to have all these assignments. You're going to have individual counseling. You're going to have family counseling. You're going to have the opportunity to just think all of these things that you're integrating, all of the knowledge from the lectures, the group, sitting in a group, talking about how you feel, talking about your life, some of the things that make you feel guilty, shame, and you talk about that in group. In an individual session, you're going to talk about some of those things again. Things that are keeping you back in your mind, they're holding you back. I talked a lot about self-concept in treatment. And self-concept means, part of self-concept means how I see myself. Am I strong? Am I foolish? Am I smart? Am I good or am I bad? How other people see me. If I'm on drugs for an extended period of time, 99.9% I'm having very poor self-concept. I stole from my mother. I've been to jail. I prostituted men and women. I hurt people, just for drugs. I must be a bad person. Your behavior, the drug-induced behavior, is what made you engage in those activities. So we want to learn how to do things to make ourselves feel good. And part of rehab is going to help you do that. When you're in rehab, you're constantly talking to the counselors, the social workers, the nurses. You're constantly talking to your peers. Now, some people in rehab are not there for rehab. They have in their mind, hey, man, I can go back out, use some more, have some more fun with drugs. I mean, look at the confusion. Here you are, your life was so horrible that you decided to go into detox, go into rehab, and you're still talking about how you can have more fun with drugs. Hasn't the drug taught you already that you can't have fun with it? These are the people that we call in rehab and detox treatment, the people that tell war stories, how great it was, how good the drug was, where they know where to get the best dope, the best crack, the best coke, not taking a look at your life. This is the confusion with drug addiction. I mean, if a person beats you down, takes your wife, takes your husband, sends you to jail, causes you to have life-threatening illnesses, you would never deal with that person again, no matter how good they made you feel. So with drug addiction, we want to understand this is something that we have to take our life away from. And in rehab, this is the beginning of preparing you to take your life back from drugs. Now it's up to you if you're going to do it or not. Because by the time if you stay in rehab for 28 days, 99.9% of the time, you're going to have enough knowledge to help you continue working on your recovery. So what's going to happen? I'm going to go into rehab. I'm going to, sit in groups, lectures, AANA every night. I'm going to have a family session. If my family's willing to still talk to me, I'm going to, learn how to use AA and NA to help me. My family members are going to learn how to use Al-Anon, so when I come home, that they can help me to continue the work that I need to do to save my life from this deadly, horrible, torturous situation. So rehab is a very important part, because you don't want to just go into detox for 5 days or 7 days. Usually if you have benzodiazepines, they may keep you for 7 days. But usually, heroin, alcohol, 5 days, 4 days. You don't want to just go in for 4 or 5 days and just go back out. It's almost like you never left. You can work on a couple of things in those days, but more than likely, you're going to need more treatment. Some people say, well, I can go to outpatient treatment. You can go to outpatient treatment. Some people do detox and go to outpatient and stay sober for the rest of their life. Some people do it. But when you look about the possibility and the probability and the best way to treat drug addiction, detox and rehab, that is what's going to get you to what I believe is going to help you tremendously. Because while you're in rehab, you're going to be laying in your room thinking by yourself, what do I want to do with my life? What do I really want to do? Do I want to go back to where I was before, having problems with my wife, having problems with my parents, my children looking at me sad, upset, sometimes hating me? Do I want to go back to that? Or do I really want to build on my life and make myself the best person I can be? What do I really want to do? And during those moments that you're laying by yourself, you are thinking. Believe me, when you're in that hospital and laying, or if it's not a hospital, but a residential rehab, you're going to be thinking, because that mind is opening up now. My mind is opening up. I'm starting to think. I'm starting to use my ability to use reason. I'm starting to, use logic again. I'm starting to use intelligence again. It's not just a one-track mind where I'm just focused on how good the drug is going to make me feel and how to get it. Now I'm just trying to, I'm a little more relaxed, just thinking, laying in my bed, eyes closed, just daydreaming about what I want to do. And then the next question is, can I do it? And that's the one that we need to work on as well also. Can I do it? If you are a human being and your brain is not drugged, there's no permanent brain damage, you can beat this fellow. But you have to be willing to do the work. Now, some people say that drug addicted people have no will. I just want to read the dictionary's definition of will for you, part of it. Part of will is to be willing, to have the desire, and to be determined. To be willing, desire, and determination. So, if I have the desire to stop the punishment from drugs, and I'm willing to do the work, because that's part of responsibility. Part of responsibility means that I'm willing to do the work to take my life back from drugs, and I'm happy to have this opportunity. Not just willing to do the work, but I'm happy to have this opportunity to take my life back from these poison chemicals and plants that have no mercy on me. You can't go back using heroin and say, oh, please, Mr. Heroin, don't give me endocarditis. Don't give me hemorrhage in the brain. Don't send me to jail. He can't hear you. He has no brain. You have the brain. Oh, please, Mr. Alcohol, don't damage my liver, stomach, brain anymore. He can't hear you. He has no brain. You're the one with the brain. So if you're willing to do the work and you're happy, then I believe every drug addicted person should be happy to have that opportunity to stop the bleeding, that punishment, the guilt, the shame, the depression, the anger towards self, towards other people, all of these things. Anger is a very painful emotion. Underneath anger, there's always pain and fear. So all of these things we want to stop. So if I'm willing to do the work, taking on responsibility now, willing to do this work no matter what it is, guilt, shame, frustration, sadness, anger, come on, what else you got? I got my counselor, I got my social worker, I got my psychiatrist, I got my sponsor, I got my people in the room. You're not in this alone. You have help, plenty of help. There's millions of dollars to help drug addicted people to stay off drugs, become drug free, and live for the rest of their life. Millions of dollars to help you. So when I go into rehab and that brain clears up, and I'm sitting in all of those lectures and groups and individual sessions, and I'm learning, I'm sitting in A&N every night, and my brain starts to work again, opening up. I want to use the knowledge that I accumulate to help me make drugs powerless in my life. Just like they made you powerless when you were under their authority, your job as a recovering person is to make addiction powerless. And you have that ability. You don't see it right now, but as that brain continues to get strong and healthy and clearing up, and you have your support systems, you will see how you can beat this fellow. You will learn and understand how you can beat it. Now, I told you guys that each time I come, I'm going to read you some of my notes that I wrote in the past. And this is one of them. If you have lost your job, if you're homeless, if you've been in prison, if you lost your girl, your guy, your children, etc., none of these things can decide if you are going to stay sober or not. Only you can make that decision. And you should not give any one of these things, or in combination, the power to stop your recovery work. Life situations can only generate feelings, just like craving can only generate feelings to use. So with your sober mind and your sober support, counselors, social workers, psychiatrists, AA sponsors, members in the room, you will work hard to learn how to cope with any feeling in a healthy way. Emotional discomfort is a factor in early recovery 99.9% of the time. So the person who is serious about taking their life back from drugs must mentally prepare himself to confront whatever recovery gives you while healing from the damage caused by drug abuse and addiction. And always remember, you're not in this alone. Now, we talk a lot about higher power recovery. God is the greatest power ever known to mankind. So you have all of your support systems, the counselors, the social workers, ANA, the sponsor, and you got God, the greatest power ever known to mankind. His spirit is in you to help you. So we want to know in the broadest sense, if I have all of these things to help me, plus I have intelligence, I have logic, I have reasoning, I have the ability to withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. That's all in my genes. My addiction just got feelings and thoughts. How could he possibly beat me? I have to allow him to beat me by allowing him to come in and take control over my mind and let that obsession build. We're going to talk about that, recovery and relapse, in another session. So remember, you have AA, NA, counselors, social workers, sponsors, family members that love you. You have God, the greatest power ever known to mankind, which that's part of me. But I've been sober 46 years, and I know it had to be God. So we want to know that we're not in this alone. And if I dedicate my life to recovery, just like I dedicated my life to drugs while I was using, my whole life centered around drugs, if I dedicate my life to recovery, I cannot lose. There's going to be some changes in rehab as well. That mind is still not healthy yet. Those thoughts are still going to pop in and out. But as long as I keep my eye on the prize, recovery, good health, because recovery just doesn't mean recovery. It means good health. It means prospering in life. It means taking myself to my highest potential. All kinds of good things is in recovery. We know what's waiting for us in relapse. There's no question. If I go back to use, I'm going to be tortured without a shadow of a doubt. If I stay sober, I don't know what may happen, but I do know that I'm going to have a better, happier life. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. All right. So we're going to talk more. And I will be talking to you guys on a regular basis. And I'm hoping that people will take advantage. Any drug addicted person out there will take advantage of the opportunity to go to detox, to go to rehab, and to continue that treatment after rehab and outpatient treatment or halfway house. You must do this to take your life back. Enjoy the recovery journey. It's waiting for you. God bless.